gore, but Greg, you don't consider this a gory show.
I don't. It doesn't feel gory to me. I don't know. Maybe it's my sensibilities, but you know, my company, we've been around for 25 years, and we've done all of Tarantino's movies and George Romero, and you know, I think Kill Bill is way gorier. But I think, you know, the great thing about our show is the network never says, no, you can't do that. Like, we get away with a lot of shit. And they never, aside from, I think in season 1, Frank Darabont and I were talking about, there's a shot in Night of the Living Dead where you see the naked zombie girl from the back walking towards the farmhouse. And Frank was like, we should do that. We should have a naked walker. And that was the only time that the network went, And when we shot in I think it was episode 3, where Carol does the C-section on the walker, we did a full makeup on that girl, because I kept saying, God, it would just be cool if when she lifts the dress up, we see like rotted boobs and shit. And we were ready to do it, and then of course, we did.
But I mean, is there anything you thought, like, for sure, we're going to get notes back on this, but went through without anything?
What was that? Sorry.
Was there anything you thought for sure you would get network interference on?
No, you know,
the nose. Remember the nose?
Oh,
season 2?
Yeah, season 2 when
nose
Glenn and Rick were trapped in the bar, and the guy got attacked by walkers, and one of the guys got his nose bitten off by a walker. We were shooting, and they're like, "This is never gonna get in."
Yeah. And it
got in. So
like full on. Yeah.
And that poor guy, I mean, he's walking around without a nose.
Oh yeah, man. I love that this guy has a beer in the front row. I'm like, what?
Yeah, well, I don't have
Okay.
You can do it!
Woo! Thanks for having us. Do you have like a Four Loko in your hand? What do you have? Oh, you guys have PBRs in your hand? Oh, nice.
Dude, we need 4 of those up here.
This is drastically different show. No
Yeah, the Saturday Late Show. This is the shit crowd.
Wow.
But you know what? Listen, what's cool is you guys. You know, we only did 3 nights. We did the first night in Cleveland. We did last night in Kansas City. This is the last time that we're gonna really be able to do this. Last night in Kansas City. So you guys are the last ones to. Nice. So we got to end on a high note.
All right. Now,
You can do it!
so let's talk to music. With all the stuff we saw in there, how are the killings actually shot? I mean, you know, there's got to be a certain amount of like mixture of old school effects work and CGI. Like, how do you guys actually do it when you're swinging at people and doing all that stuff?
Like I've been saying, the crossroads. The crossbow is kind of like a math problem, because you can't shoot a live arrow on set, but you got to show an arrow.
You can do it!
You can do it. You gotta pull the arrow, show the arrow, load the arrow in the crossbow, go to aim, drop it on the camera, show it on the ground. Digital arrow from then on. Then you gotta pick up the arrow, show it, stick it in someone's head, let it go, take a knife, stick it, take your knife back, grab the arrow, show it again, put it in the crossbow, drop it at a camera, throw it on the ground. And, you know, it's like a math problem.
Yeah, he makes it look good, right?
And that's tomorrow night. That's tomorrow night. That's good.
Oh, yeah.
Tomorrow night's episode, you're going to see a lot of that. The best thing is, you know, obviously you can't shoot a real crossbow, so they have fake bolts. So when he pulls the trigger, it goes, bing, and goes about 4 feet. And Norm's like, we're not going to use that, are we? No.
I hate that fucking crossbow. Because also, I mean, like, it's not the bolts are fake. There's no tension. So it just goes boom. You know, I hate using that fucking nerve.
What about the stuff that you guys do when you're like using like hand-to-hand
We
combat?
have like 3 different versions of each weapon. So we have one that's the rubber weapon, and you have to move it quickly. It goes. Wah, wah, wah. Then we have one which is steel, and then a bit of rubber. So if you hit somebody's head, it goes. And then we have one that's the real one, and if you hit somebody's head, it goes. Bad. So you have to practice, and you have to. A lot of the weaponry stuff too is selling it in the. I'm selling in the. You know. Right. Yeah. Thank you. Hey, it's Friday. It's Saturday.
But I mean, surely you probably whacked each other a little too hard in these.
Yeah, I mean, people get hurt. That's why we got stunt guys, and the stunt guys are really nice. So you feel bad when you hit them, but that's what they do. I mean,
You step on a lot of bodies that you think are rubber. You step on a lot of people by accident.
you're like, oh shit, dude, my bad. Like I didn't know. Yeah, no, that's totally true. Yeah, it's hard being a walker, really. I mean, even first season. Remember that dude? He had his skin started bubbling in the sun. You remember that during the tank when we were going in to infiltrate the CDC? They were all laying out in the sun, and he had makeup on.
You had like condoms full of water you were splashing under them so they didn't stick to the ground.
They were fake blood. That was a really tricky scene at the last episode of season 1, because when they were going to the CDC, we had 60 guys in makeup and we had 100 fake bodies, and it was 120 degrees, so we had to put neoprene and cut them out into little dead body shapes and have people lay on them so that they didn't burn, they didn't stick to the concrete. As a matter of fact, when we shot outside of Morgan's house, when Morgan's looking out the window and he's shooting the walkers, Frank Darabont said, oh, let's have one girl with like barefoot. So we had a barefoot walker, and the bottoms of her feet started burning to the concrete. That's how hot it was. It was pretty ridiculous. But the fun thing was, I took pictures of it. But then when we were shooting outside the CDC, we would take condoms filled with fake blood, and we'd throw it in the air, and then it would hit the ground, explode, and we go, okay, you go lay there. And that's how we got all the blood spurts on the ground, was just whipping condoms in the air.
Do you ever hope for like a fall season for this show, where you're like, oh, it's not going to be filmed it's not going to be set in the dead of summer, so we can get a break in the temperatures?
Kind of split it, don't we? I mean, we go from the heat to a somewhat fall, but things get really cold quickly in Atlanta for some reason. It's not like we're there that late.
Wait, really? Seriously? It gets cold here?
Wow, that was
What a bunch of wimps we are.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right.
This crowd's awesome. I love it. Let's break shit. I love it.
We did when we shot the scene at the end of season 2 where the barn was on fire. Literally, we had fake bodies in the grass that were frozen. It was so cool. Dude, seriously?
Fucking rad. What's your name?
Thank you. Cheers.
You can do it!
All right, what were we talking about?
So much better. Bam.
The barn burning.
Right. End of season 2, when we were shooting the barn on fire. It was so cold, all the fake bodies were frozen into the ground, and all the zombie extras, they had to digitally go in and remove their breath from the scenes because, of course, walkers aren't supposed to be warm. So between takes, we had to put blankets and snuggies on all the walkers so they didn't get pneumonia.
And then when we burned the barn, we all stood around the barn and warmed our hands by the fire.
Yeah, we made marshmallows.
Marshmallows.
Get up
What's been surprising about this season for you guys?
He's tweeting about.
He's trying to play a song.
Got some Sonic Youth fans on
Do that. See my phone.
That's the sound of the audience falling asleep.
So, what surprised you guys about this season?
You know, going back to your original question about the winter episode, before we killed Lori, there was so funny. There was some discussion about going back in February and shooting just one episode where, per the graphic novel, when the governor attacks the prison in the graphic novel, that's when Lori dies. But there was discussion about shooting one episode where she gets separated from the group in the prison and wanders through the woods, pregnant, and has the baby alone in the woods, separated from the rest of the group. And we're going to shoot it as a winter episode. Which would have been a cool. Thanks, we can do it. It would have been a great idea, but you know they all opted to do the death on
To do the Arnold Schwarzenegger impression because we got a bit loopy yesterday when we were flying and we all were doing Arnold all day. And by the end of the day, Greg's version of Arnold sounded French.
What is the matter with you? I don't think that sounded French. If that's to do Total Recall, you just go. That's all you have to say. They thought he
Do
sounded.
you know who did that effect for Total Recall?
Rob Bottin.
That was. What is that line? She goes. She's like, "We're going to."
Yeah, and she
Wait, like, I'm going to. No. Like she goes. You know where she's like, "Where are you going?" She's like, "I'm going to."
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Very good. Wait, is there any movie nerds out here?
They're all movie nerds. You're all fucking movie nerds, right?
Well,
That's you, Norman Boondock.
Yeah, you know, I don't know what's up. Our producer just died on that TV, so we'll raise a glass to TV real quick. You know,
you talked about just differing from the graphic novel. Like you sort of likened it to a freeway. I wonder if you could talk about that, like how you're not doing the exact same thing, but it gives you sort of a blueprint, right?
I didn't know who you were looking at.
I was looking at him the whole time.
Looking at her, he's looking at you.
I didn't even hear what you said.
He has a wide gaze. I mean, I don't know. I think that's for you.
Well, you know, I mean, we have great source material. You know, the graphic novel's gone up to 107 issues. We probably hit about 30% of it. So we got a lot more story to tell, which is great. And you know, when we shot The Mist, Stephen King made an interesting comment about the end of the movie because the movie ends very differently than the short story. And Stephen King kind of said, "Oh, I liked the way you guys ended the movie. If I would have thought of that, I probably would have ended the book that way." So with Robert Kirkman, you know, having an opportunity to revisit the stories that he wrote 10 years ago and tell them in a different spin, he's all for all that stuff. So, you know, we sort of compare it to you're on a freeway and you get off and explore a little bit of, am I boring you?
There's a giant us behind it.
How many of you read the comic books?
Lauren, everybody's looking at your ass right now.
You can do it.
What
Can we talk about The Walking Dead?
We should probably take a step back though, just talk about how you guys got involved on this, because I mean, for instance, Stephen, you got super lucky on it. You came out for pilot season and ended up on it. Could you talk just a little bit about that?
Sure. My experience is one of those actor experiences where if you tell another actor, they want to kill you, because I was very fortunate. I moved out to Los Angeles from Chicago. To be fair, I was raised in Michigan.
That's even worse.
Wow. By the way, I don't mean this to be a jerk, but like for real, thank you for Prince Fielder. But I moved to LA and I moved to LA and it was pilot season, and I was testing for this ABC pilot, and I didn't get it, and I was really sad, and then Walking Dead happened literally a month after, and if I would have booked that ABC pilot, I wouldn't have been able to do Walking Dead, and then Walking Dead turned into a fucking awesome show that you guys all love. And that other show is like in television hell somewhere, so it doesn't even exist. So thank you. That's a thank you to you guys. Thank you very much.
So what some of you might not know is that the character of Daryl didn't exist originally. You want to talk about that a little bit there, Norman?
Yeah, let's see. I went to, yes. I went to, I went to Los Angeles for pilot season and I showed them my tits. I kind of came late to the Walking Dead thing. I got the pilot thing, and I read it, and it just, it was like, what? It was like, buddy roommate drama, cop show, fucking lawyer show, Walking Dead. And I was like, get me in on that. And they said all the roles are pretty much taken, and I think they originally were gonna see me for like a future like guest part or something, I don't know, but I went in and I read Merle's lines, and then I heard that Rooker had the part, and then I went back to New York, and they brought me back in to read again, and I thought maybe Rooker couldn't do it or something, or he said no for some stupid reason, and then you can do it. Anyway,
Rule of three.
Yeah, so so anyway, I left that thing and got a call later saying that there's a new part they have and they wanted me to play it. And
And originally you thought like it was more of a like kind of a one-note part, right? It wasn't as developed.
I mean, I never had a conversation with anybody about Daryl, to be honest, not Frank or anybody, and they kind of let me just run with it. Love you too. And so I just kind of ran with it, and with TV you kind of get to bob and weave and drop these little seeds, and they turn into storylines, and sometimes the writers are very open with us, and they invite us into the writers' room, and we can so what does Daryl think about T-Dog, whatever. And
Force them out.
Yeah. And then do we have to pour some shit on the ground or something like that? I poured it on the ground. But anyway, but sometimes, I say something, they're like, no, Norman, shut up. No, you can't do that. So, it's a collaborative thing, so it's cool.
What about you, Laura? I mean, how did you, it was a pretty sudden move for you, right?
Yeah, it was good. I was in Ireland. I love you. And I went to Ireland for a wedding, and I auditioned the day I got there. I sent a tape over, and then it was a 4-day wedding, because they do it well over there. And then the second day they said, come to Atlanta and test with Steven. And they called back and they said, don't test, just come over. And so I left the wedding and went to start on The Walking Dead. So it was the beginning of the end of the story.
what this turned into, like, matched what you expected? I mean, did you expect it to be, like, such a physical, grueling thing, or that you'd be covered in shit at all times?
No idea. I mean, when I first watched the series, I watched the whole series in one go, the first 6 episodes, and I was on a plane when I was watching it, and they were bringing dinner around, and I was literally, I remember the flight attendants just kind of being disturbed by, like, my retching and leaping and stuff. I was terrified for the first one. I had zombie dreams for weeks when we first started. Like, I'd wake up, turn over in bed, and there was a zombie, and I just, it wasn't real. And, but,
What about you, Steven? How did it, like, compare to what you expected?
This was my first like big job. So for me, all I could think of was like, don't fuck it up. When you landed, a lot of people, you get this question a lot. Where like, did you know it was gonna be what it turned into when you were starting? And no, I was just happy to have a job. And I remember landing on set and being surrounded by amazing writing, amazing direction, amazing producing, and then awesome cast and crew. And you're sitting there surrounded by these really great people, and even they're saying to me like, dude, it's not gonna get as good as this. Like, I can feel that it's good. And they've been at it for a while, so they're like, I just caught up to something and that sucked ass. This feels really good. And you don't know what that means until people watch it, but then when it came out, people went bonkers for it. So, again, thank you guys. That's really what it comes down to.
Was the reaction, like, pretty much instantaneous? I mean, did it feel like a hit right away?
Well, when we started the show, we used Night of the Living Dead as our sort of benchmark. That was the Darabont. When we watched the scene with Bill Heintzman in the cemetery, the first walker, and if you really think about the first walker, the first zombie, and you really think about the fact that he chases her out of the cemetery, picks up a rock, he smashes the window of the car in. So the rules change, and even in the first season, our walkers are a little bit different because the little girl walker picks up her teddy bear, and they use rocks to break the department store window. So, our rules have changed. But the thing that I'm most proud of the show is these are themes that have been seen before in other zombie shows, but because of the cast, because of the storytelling, it feels new and it feels fresh. And when we killed Amy in season 1, it had emotion, it had compassion, it had power. We were talking earlier about the first walker that's in the park, the half girl, the bicycle girl that's crawling along the ground. What's fascinating to me about that scene is you actually feel compassion for that. You get a sense of who that person was before they died and became this undead crawling half corpse. And when you feel emotion, that's what genre stuff is supposed to do. It's supposed to pull you in and make you feel something. And I think our show, because of our cast and our writers, this is the quietest it's ever been. What happened to everybody?
You're kidding everybody right here.
I got everybody right here.
That's how good you are, though. I mean, you make...
I put them all to sleep in like 1 second.
About feeling compassion for these dead things. I mean, you see the scared, dying, lost person behind the monster. So that's how good you are.
Yeah. And you fuck it.
Is that why you think, like, people who aren't really into horror movies or this kind of thing really like The Walking Dead? I mean, we had somebody from a show earlier.
There are 4-year-olds that love The Walking Dead. There are 4-year-olds. 4-year-olds that get their grandparents into the show. Like, it's the most surreal experience.
Why is that?
I think Mayan calendar, that thing failed. But I mean, like, there's this whole sense of like dread in the world of like financially things are kind of, and even like people think that the world might end in some other capacity. So it's kind of fun to fantasize about who you would be. Would you be Daryl? Would you be Rick? Would you be Shane? Would you be Glenn? Would you be Maggie? And see, I mean, you voice that because you get in there and you realize that it's not necessarily about the zombies or the horror. It's about, when everything's stripped away and all the society is gone, like, what are you focused on and who do you turn into? And I think that's what we're trying to hit, and it's fun.
turn into a naked walker? Is that what you said?
We should talk about like some of the walkers because you have the hero walkers, which are the ones that you see up close, and you've had like a different level of makeup that you've done for how close they are, right? But you had to change that once you realized all the cameras were out there.
Well, we separated in terms of we have our hero walkers that have contact lenses and dentures, and they get close to camera, and then we have mid-grounds, which are paint jobs with blood splattered, and sometimes we have people in masks. The trick with television is it's not like a movie where you have one camera that sort of covers the principal action. We have multiple cameras because we shoot a mini zombie movie every 8 days. We have 8 days to shoot. So it's, we're shooting 8 to 10 pages of material a day, which includes the dialogue, the action scenes. So it's really challenging. Really challenging for the action scenes, and then we get into big drama scenes where you have all the actors in the room. So we have, what I found interesting having directed episodes is you set 3 cameras up, and your camera guys are filming the background zombie. So they're filming the guy with the mask and his orange hair sticking out. You're like, no, don't shoot that guy because he's supposed to be in the background. But they film different things, so you have to be real careful. And to me, it's really important that the walkers always have a very specific level of realism, because that's what makes the show, it gives it that extra level. The first season, all the actors, the scene in season 2, actually, when you guys were gutting the zombie and pulling the guts out, looking for Sophia, I mean, that, you want it to be real, and we had all these little sacks. We took like nylon stocking and silk and put methicillin slime in it and had a whole fake chest. So these guys actually cut into it and were pulling guts and intestines out.
That was so fun.
It was fun.
And he had like little tubes of hot air that would blow like hot air in your face. So good. Yeah.
Actually farted in the tube, and that was the hot air.
Well, I think you probably have about 2,500 potential walkers here who would love to be on the show. What makes a good one? I mean, because maybe you think like, oh, I could go out there and shuffle and groan. How do these guys make it work?
How do the zombies make it work to be good zombies?
What's a good zombie?
Oh, well, we have zombie school, and I grade everybody. And we grade them on their look, and we grade them on their performance. And one thing I learned from George Romero was, if you demonstrate a zombie walk for 100 people, they'll all do the exact same thing. So what we do is, they're actors in the episodes just like these guys are. So when these guys are interacting with them, they're doing scenes with the principal cast. So they have to be good performers, and they have to bring their characters to life. So we work with them pretty specifically to make sure. I have a little book that has pictures of every person that plays a walker, and I handpick each one. Like the RV walker that Andrea stabs in the eye with the screwdriver, all that stuff. We handpick those people, and then we do their makeup, but they have to be able to act, and it's important.
We found one good one at a bar. I said, yeah.
The guy, if you saw last week's episode when our heroes escape Woodbury, and there's that one hideous bald walker that turns and looks into Woodbury, that guy, we found him at a bar we were drinking one night.
Dang. Are you sure?
Budweiser sucks!
I thought it was a Coke. Oh, that's hilarious. Thank you. All right. Dude, we're going to be drunk in about 10 minutes.
This thing?
We're just trying to catch up to you guys.
What's been your, Lauren, what's been your favorite scene to shoot this season?
Favorite scene to shoot? Yeah, the first episode, all the kick-off stuff. The most fun thing is probably getting up to that walker where I rip his mask off and because I love that reaction. That's what you do. You'd be in that world and you'd get a really good kill and you'd still be completely thrilled and be like, yeah, it's all those moments of making it still real and making like celebrating something.
it safe to,
you should recreate the scene with the governor.
Steven, is it safe to assume your favorite was ripping that arm out and fucking giving it to that guy?
She gave it to that guy.
No, when you ripped it out.
I ripped I ripped the arm out. That was awesome. That was a great day. Just cause like you just do what you think you're supposed to do to get a bone out of an arm, and they made an arm so real that as I was ripping it, I was just like, oh. And what was cool about it is that is what you would do as well.
Well, we made the bones out of resin, and we put the bones in the mold, and then we put like fake muscle material around it, and then poured silicone around the whole arm. So when he actually broke it and ripped into it, there was all these different layers of meat inside it. So we actually made it hard for him to do because we wanted it to be real. So then we had the fake fake bone pieces.
Yeah, just like ripping it out and like just like digging in there with your fingers and like.
Our shop in Georgia, we have like the gas mask walker, and we have Dead Penny. We have the Michonne's pet heads, all the heads from the fish tanks are all sitting on shelves in our shop.
What the walker that you took out in the scene, that was the crew member, right?
Yeah, so we have a stunt coordinator. His name is Russell Towery, and he used to be the stunt. He used to be RoboCop. He was RoboCop. He's awesome, but the dude is like the nicest guy, and he's hilarious. So I'm sitting there trying to like be in the moment, and sometimes I can't control how hard I'm throwing my arms, and so I have a wooden thing on my arm, and I jacked him in the head maybe 3 or 4 times. And the best part is that like, you know, you're seriously in this moment, you're like, I'm gonna kill this fucking walker, like this sucks. And this guy, and he's coming at me as an actor, as a walker, but then he gets hit in the head, he's like, ah, and then he's like, ah. Steve, you just gotta like, just don't actually fuck. Damn it. And then like, you know, it breaks the reality, but it's hilarious.
I'm trying to find the picture. After Steve did that scene where he breaks off the chair and rips that wolf to shit, we went into the room and we pretended to take a nap with the body. And I have a picture, but I can't find it.
Oh, hey, no, that's... Oh. There's only 4 of us. I mean, and 5 of us, but...
I'm the help. Thanks, dude.
That's not true. Can we get it on the camera?
Yeah, Heinz Ward was a walker last week. He was in when they break out of the of Woodbury. Wait, can you focus on that? All right, that's not. That's not gonna work.
Just another day.
Well, the best is when we'll be sitting at a restaurant or a bar and we'll be talking about the show. We have to be very cautious because we don't want to ruin stuff, and we don't know who's going to be listening. But a lot of times we'll be like, "Hey man, so like when you chop that person's head off tomorrow, what weapon do you want to use?" And then when we first started the show, people would be at the next table and they'd be like. And like, oh yeah, and I've had meetings with directors and shit where I forget what the hell the movie was, but it was Drag Me to Hell. I was meeting with Sam Raimi, and we were talking about the fight in the car when Christine bashes the shit out of Mrs. Ganoush, and I'm sitting there with Sam Raimi, we're like, okay, so when you bash the old lady's head into the steering wheel, do you want her teeth to come out? And are you gonna stab her in the face with a stapler? And the people at this next table were like, what the fuck are they talking about? I just want one day for some little old lady to just go, oh, and just get up and run out. Yeah, bitch, we're coming up here.
But I'm guessing that the town area where you shoot, they really embraced you guys being there, right?
Yeah, we have, I mean, the coffee shop has like Walker Blend coffee and...
You guys want to hear a crazy, actual Norman transcending Daryl story?
Should I be scared right now?
Remember when, so Norman got hurt on set due to some, excess flailing, and he got cut on the head, like really bad. He was profusely bleeding. And then I'll let Norman finish this because this is like a fucking badass story.
Wow, that was a crazy day. I got hurt and had stitches across my forehead, but so I stand up and blood's coming down and everyone's freaking out and they rush me to the hospital and you already have so much blood all over us, like fake blood. So I come, barging in the hospital and people are like, oh my God, I'm covered in blood. So I get the stitches and then I come, they take me back to set, I get the day off. Take me back to set, and then a Teamster's driving a van that I'm in the front seat, and someone's driving my car back to my apartment, right? So I have stitches, I'm all out of it. We leave set, we go up over a hill, and there's an 18-wheeler on its side in a ditch. And there's some old, that's like telephone poles hit and stuff, and this old lady's in the road going, he's trapped behind the wheel, I think he had a heart attack. So I jump out of the van, pull this big, fat, sweaty guy out of the side of a truck. That's what you're talking about, right? Yeah. All right. So I pull this big, fat, sweaty guy out of the sideways 18-wheeler and put him on the ground. I'm like, are you with me? Are you with me? He's so out of it. And then people are starting to stop their cars, and then an ambulance finally comes and is running over and he goes, did I just take you to the hospital? I go, yeah, but it's not me, it's him. And then he starts cutting open his shirt, and then people started taking pictures, and so we took off. But it was the weirdest fucking day.
Impressive. Did that end up on CNN? Did any of that end up on CNN when he was the hero?
No,
No, it didn't?
Nobody ever knew. Yeah, that was just, he's just a hero. We love him.
I think I was on Vicodin or something.
Because Steven here has a story that ended up on CNN that I think you should share.
Did it end up on CNN?
I think you should share about your experience with the tick.
This would be great.
Here, I'll start it. So, because the first two seasons, we were shooting outside in the woods. Season 3, the greatest advancement was we had air conditioning because the sets for the prison and everything were air conditioned, but mostly we were shooting outside. And one of the things you have to do when you're done shooting is go home and take all your clothes off and make sure you don't have any ticks. Because we were shooting in the woods, and you'd come home and you'd be like, what the hell is that? And you'd have to, and they give you like a little kit. You have to use tweezers and you got to pull it so you pull a head out so you don't get sick. So you have to do tick checks when you get home from work. I've offered for a few people in the crew to give them tick checks, but no takers.
You can give me a tic tac.
Really?
Not now. No.
I think she'll give you a tick check.
I think I said chick tac.
Tick check, look, right there.
Go ahead, Lisa.
So to go off that, essentially what happened was I was doing a tick check and I didn't have any ticks. So I was like, I'm chilling. So I drove home and I went home and I was like doodling around the apartment for a while, and then I went to take a shower. And when you take a shower, you take your clothes off. And so when I took my clothes off, as a guy, you check to see if things are intact, like just on a daily basis, like you see if it's there. I was looking there at my other me, and on my other knee there was a guest. It was like a big fat ass tick on the tip of my knob. And I freaked out, first of all. Freaked out. But the greatest thing is that this guy really wanted to be there. And I could hold him. You know what, I'm gonna say it's a woman because that makes me feel better. I could hold her or it by its body and then also hold me. So I could like puppeteer myself with this chick. So I'm freaking out. I pull it off. I put it on the tape, on the sink, and then it starts running away, so I burn the shit out of that bitch. And then I went and took a shower, and in the shower, I just started laughing hysterically, because all I could think of was like, I'm glad that it happened to me. And at that time, it would have been either me or John Bernthal, because we would be the only two in the entire set that would ever share with everyone that happened. Everyone would be too fucking embarrassed to ever tell anyone that they had a tick on their dick. But for me, I was like, that, you know, the universe let me have that, so that I could share that with the world.
Very glamorous, this job.
Yeah.
A lot of glamour.
I'm just thinking of others. I'm thinking of others. You know what I mean? I like to share.
I love when you came up to me on set the next day, like, I had a tickle on my pickle. Wait, what? And then the story gets better.
So gross.
Chris, well, why don't we take some of the questions from the audience that you guys submitted beforehand that we have for some of you guys individually. Let's see. We have, for Greg, how is the makeup effect done on the zombies that have the lower jaw missing? Is that all CGI green screen?
Wait, who asked the question? Is it on there?
Oh, I'm sorry. This is Brandon Oler from Milwaukee.
Brandon, where you
here,
at?
Brandon?
Brandon, where you at? Woo! Wherever you are. So, yeah, what we ended up doing for Michonne's pets was we actually sculpted the prosthetic so that we moved